Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm here after a nice weekend, just chilling. And more big family news this weekend. It's awesome. I have some great news. My son, the younger of my two children, is now engaged. He proposed to his longtime girlfriend yesterday, and she said yes. And it was we got to watch it a little bit because what he did is he made all these plans, and had he's in Colorado right now, and had a bunch of friends coming up to go skiing in the mountains, and he had this little elaborate plan to go take some pictures at a point where her sister and her fiance took pictures, and had this elaborate plan, and his friends were all hiding up on the mountain with cameras and stuff, and he proposed in the mountain, and so they FaceTimed for us, and we got to watch it all happen, and then they went on this cute little scavenger hunt around Breckenridge, and it was really cool, and I'm really happy for my son. I'm happy for his lovely bride-to-be sometime down the road. Don't know when that's going to happen, but we're excited, so that'll be cool. Anyway, we're going to get caught up in some of the weekend news, including the slap heard around the world, apparently, because everyone's talking about it, and we're not talking about President Putin brain all tonight. So, but I'm going to talk about that too. But oh man, he tried to slap the black off Chris Rock. Anyway, so that's what we're going to do today. We'll do like we do it every Monday. We'll get caught up in the news on this lovely Metal Monday on the Morning Night Live, although I'm going to keep the music off today. I got to go back and figure out the levels. But so anyway, that's what we're going to do. Little weekend catch up. Johnny, play the intro. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog Studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, P. Dog Night. Stop the music. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as P-Dog Night on the internet. And welcome back to the P-Dog Night channel on this Monday, the 28th of March, 2022. I almost said 21. It is not 2021, Marty. It's 2022. And I'm so glad you're here for the 796th episode of the Morning Night Live. And I'm pretty excited. My 800th episode's this Friday. I have a couple guests lined up so far. It might be 3, but right now I have a couple young men who are very interesting on the internet, and I'd like to talk to them a little bit. One is named Christian Watson. Christian Watson will be on the show, and then also Ruined Leon. If you're not familiar with Ruined Leon, he's a young guy who he got a huge following very fast. Funny dude. Both very thoughtful young men, and we're going to talk about. I want to talk to them. They're a couple of young black men. I want to talk to them, and we'll see if we have any other guests. But those two for sure. We're going to talk to them about how their experience being young men on the internet, young black men who speak about, who aren't necessarily mainstream thinkers, and have some very they're just two interesting guys. I think you'll like them. So I'm excited to have those guys on for my 800th episode. I'm going to start having guests on the regular on Fridays if I can. I've been saying that for months now, and months, maybe even years. But I'm going to make it come to fruition. Yes, Ruin Leon, the sexiest black YouTuber, except for me. Well, I told him, I was on a stream with him Saturday night, and I told him, I said, you're the sexiest young black YouTuber on the internet. or on the YouTube, whatever. Because I'm sorry. This, you know it's true. Girl, you know it's true. Ooh, 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 I love you. Anyway, where is my audience today? Oh, I know why. Ranting Monkey's running right now. So that some of those, in fact, I'm gonna go over Ranting Monkey's channel. Let's see what Ranting Monkey's doing right now. Because I know he and Jack are they're about mid-show right now. And if you're not familiar with Ranting Monkey, well, let's get familiar with Ranting Monkey. Let me find his. Let me find him here. There he is. Oh, everyone's talking about Will Smith. Because that shit was funny. I'm sorry. Let me see here. All right, let me put him on the screen here. Let's see what's going on over at Monkey's channel right now. What are they talking about? Wait, why is this? Hold on. Why is that like that? What the hell's going on here? Hang on. Before I didn't want to put this on the screen until it actually fits the screen, and all of a sudden my window's too large there. Let's try that. That's to be a little better. Dang. Now it's, oh, what the hell? See, now you can't see. I'm glad you can't see what I'm doing because I'm messing this all up. All right, here we go. Let's see what's going on over there. We'll just get a kind of idea what's happening over on Ranting Monkey's channel. Let's turn that back up.
He says, I'm sorry for the people losing money and with the post-midnight crowd, but you can't balance revenue against public safety. Gilbert said the curfew and restrictions were to protect officers, tourists, and people living at the beach. There's not a single goddamn comma in that sentence.
Okay. Hold on.
Offended by it.
I'm gonna. Okay, that's okay. Well, hopefully some of those people jump over here afterwards. Anyway, all right. I am. What bias reporting? What are we talking about? Let's do the time work. What's going on in my chat here? Are you talking about show tunes? I don't know. Anyway, let's say good morning to the chat. That's what I do. And what the hell's going on here? Everything's going wrong today. What the hell? All right, let's fix this. I'll be right back. Just a second. Let me fix that and make sure that volume's correct. Okay. All right. Well, let's say good morning to the troops because right now I seem to be having weird difficulties here. So, all right. Here we go. Let's go for live chat. Get that all correct. All right, so anyway, first in the chat today is our friend Maddie, who gets the bell. I'll just hit that bell again because I kind of overshadowed it with the truck sound. Good morning, Maddie. How you doing? Also, good morning, Advocatus Diabli, Rotten Corpse, Ty Alexander, Somnambule Nation. Thank you for tweeting out the show again, Somnambule Nation. I appreciate that. Also, good morning, Attack Alpaca, Wikipedia Snippets back. Welcome back. Chicago Mike, Rockhopper. Is that everybody? That's everybody so far because that's it. Wow. Okay. Well, it's all right. Share the stream as Maddie and Somnambule Nation already have. Thank you too for tweeting out the show or anyone who wants to do that. What do you do when you retweet the stuff? Somebody named Anita follow me. Who's Anita? Oh, is this one of the... Okay, this annoys me. Is this one of these stupid... December 2021? There's a lot of spam Twitter accounts that like basically usually put a fake picture of some buxom I like that word, buxom. But how did they come up with the word buxom? What the hell does that mean? I mean, I know it means big hooters or some shit like that, or a pleasantly large woman, but buxom? I wonder what the origin of that word is. Let me see. This is going to be an educational show today. Buxom. We'll give you that. B-U-X-O-M, buxom definition. Let's see if there's an etymology. Healthy, plump, and ample of figure, full-bosomed, lively, vivacious. I wanted to know the etymology for that word, though. Adjective, a woman, healthy, plump, attractive, vigorous, of a woman, full bosom, derived forms of buxom, buxomly, adverb, buxomness, noun, word origin for buxom, I don't know. Anyway, all right. Shall we talk about Will Smith real quick? Because this is going to be short and sweet. And he's trending. Obviously, he's trending on Twitter today because This is the shot heard around the world. Apparently, Will Smith didn't like a joke and he slapped the shit out of Chris Rock. And I'm not gonna play the well, there's video of it, and Will's there yelling at. He's mad. Will is heated, and threw out some F-bombs. Don't get your name of my wife out your mouth and shit like that. And so what happened was, and I'm sure you've all know this by now, but so Chris made a joke because, Jada Pinkett wears her hair super short. I think she shaves most of it off because she might have some alopecia going on, or she has, some people have speculated she might have cancer. But anyway, she always wears her hair super short. And right now it's like her head's almost shaved, right? And so Chris Rock just says it's such the most tame joke you could make about this right now. Chris Rock says, I see Jada Smith's here. She'll be starring in the next the new version of G.I. Jane 2 or some shit like that, right? G.I. Jane was the movie back about 25 years ago where Demi Moore plays this person trying to go through Navy SEAL training, and she shaved her head in the movie. That's kind of an iconic part of the movie. And so he made the joke about G.I. Jane, and it's like, that is the most mild joke you could make about Jada Pinkett Smith right now, if you know anything about Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith's relationship, which is a little bit on the well, you don't need a can opener to open it because it's already open. And, and so Will comes up and just tries to smack the black off of Chris Rock. And he walks back to his seat, and Chris Rock just looks like, okay, that happened. Will Smith tried to slap the shit out of me. And then he kind of went on, right? Does she have alopecia? It must be like not really fully developed alopecia, Colleen. And by the way, good morning, Colleen Bernier, because she has a lot of hair stubble. Like, she shaves her head. Now there may be some spots where she's losing hair, but anyway, you should have referenced Uncle Fester. Yeah, I mean, it could have been a lot worse. It could have been some ugly bald people. Telly Savalas, Uncle Fester. Who's that one dude? Anyway, there's a bunch of ugly bald people. Or she could have said something about him running for Congress, or after Will slapped him and he walked back. I wish and I could hear Chris Rock's voice saying this too, saying, damn, I just told a joke. I didn't fuck her. I mean, it could have been that, and it wasn't. But that maybe Will might have come back up. But anyway, then Will starts yelling, keep her effing name out your mouth. Keep my wife's name out your mouth. And because at first people thought it was just a bit, right? People thought it was just a bit because he got it. In fact, 20 minutes later, Will got an Oscar for playing Richard Williams, Serena and Venus Williams' dad, who's a little bravado himself. So people thought it was a bit until he went back to his seat and started screaming at Chris Rock, which then told everybody, oh, this is not a bit. In fact, okay, I'm going to show you the picture here. Maybe you can see this. I don't want to. Okay, hang on. Now, I don't want the volume on here, but I want you to see this is Will Smith without the volume yelling at Chris Rock. After he slapped him, okay? And he's walked back and, oh, Will Smith just slapped the shit out of me. and then look at his face as he's yelling at Chris Rock. He's not, and this girl right here is just like, ooh, shit. But look, Will's serious. Will is serious. Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth. And he's serious. And Chris is like, oh, you weren't playing. Anyway, and there were no police officers, involved. No, this is some black shit that happened, and so there you go. Whoa, what is this? What is this shit? Okay, someone's spamming me some crap. Anyway, so yeah, that happened, and it's about the most exciting thing that's happened at the Oscars in 20 years, and about the only reason to watch any part of the Oscars. I mean, honestly, it's funny because I tweeted yesterday. I got this notification from or a tweet from the Independent. That's one of those. I don't know. I think they're owned by the New York Times, but they're based in London, and it was saying, "Oh yeah, the Oscars are tonight." I'm like, "Oh, I had no idea the Oscars were last night," and then on second thought, I couldn't name a single movie that had been nominated for any awards. I didn't even know any of the movies that could have possibly been nominated. I haven't, I mean, I've seen a couple movies, but they weren't really Oscar. I saw the Spider-Man movie, the something universe where the three Spider-Mans all end up in the same place. That was kind of, I enjoyed that movie. That was a fun movie, well made, but I think that's the only movie I saw last year that was, new or even would be in a running for any kind of Oscar. So, oh well, and I'm pretty sure that's not unusual. I couldn't even name the movie that Will Smith won an Oscar for. I just knew that he played Venus and Serena Williams' dad, and that's it. So, I don't know. There's a few alarms, alopecia, partial patches, full head, and full body hair. If she has the first, it's probably just easier to shave it like some men do. Oh, well, yeah, she's always kind of worn her hair short anyway, so I wouldn't even know. He should have sodomized this Oscar. Oh my God, Happy Costello. That's deep. Or that would have been deep because those Oscars are pretty tall. Anyway, P-Dog will challenge Chris to a duel. They're going to meet in Chicago tomorrow for mutual combat. They're going to use rapiers. I don't know. Winner gets to F Jada. I don't think he'd have to. I don't think Chris would have to have a duel for that. Okay. Oh my goodness. I was going to go there. Well, I could go there anyway. You're proving my point, Peter Knight. Nobody gave a shit, but now it's being talked about because of the drama. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I bet the websites, well, look, everybody, all the news media loves that kind of shit because, it's something unusual. It involves violence. It involves celebrities on a big celebrity event, and it gives them a real good reason to talk about it. Now, certainly they were talking about all over the internets who won Oscars for what, but you know what? It's funny. All of this, through all of this, I have no idea who won any other Oscar other than Will Smith. I have no idea. Haven't heard not blip about who has won an Oscar other than Will Smith. Oh, this is weird. Oh, God. Oh, I'm not even going to show that one. Anyway, there's people talking about this on the internets. Oh, there are all kinds of memes. Here's one of the memes. This is Disney's Encanto. We don't talk about Jada. I don't know what that means. Oh, I've talked too long about this already. I just got to click though. I just got to click. They're going to go on, let's see. We'll just go in here. What the hell? Comedian joked about her while hosting the 2000s. Oh, I guess apparently Will was also mad about the last time Chris Rock made jokes about Jada at the Oscars in 2016. So the joke in 2016, because Jada Pinkett, I think, or Jada Pinkett Smith or whatever she goes by, Jada Pinkett Smith, she basically decided to boycott the Oscars in 2016 because Will didn't get nominated for something or she didn't get nominated. Somebody, either her or her husband, didn't get nominated for an Oscar that she thought they should have got, right? So she boycotted that, said she wasn't going to come to the Oscars. And Chris Rock's joke was, yeah, you know, Jada Smith boycotting the Oscars is like me boycotting Rihanna's panties. I wasn't invited. And apparently, I don't think he took it too lightly. There's some of the facial reactions to people on the slap. Now, I don't know how I got all these pictures, because I thought some of these pictures, like this one down here, I think these are reactions from other times in history that they've made faces, but still, that's funny. Let's see. Nope, there's someone has it on their TV, him slapping the shit out of him. So anyway, now I don't know if anyone talked about this afterwards. Comics condemn Will Smith's slapping of Chris Rock at the Oscars, pure out of control rage. Now, what comics are condemning him? And I think they should. Okay, I don't think that's what she did there. Beef of the century. The fish versus the zebra. Anyway, all right, enough. You know, somewhere on the planet, Kanye West is laughing his ass off. So anyway, all right, let's get to current events. Let's see. We got apparently, according to Ukraine is willing to compromise on Donbass to end the war. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky said Sunday he's willing to compromise with Russia on the Donbass region because trying to force Russian forces completely from Ukraine would lead to World War III, according to Reuters. Stunning reported development came as Ukraine's top military intelligence official said he believes Russia is backing off, taking the country's capital, Kyiv, to instead focus on the southern and eastern portions of the country to try to split the nation in two. Russia will try to impose a dividing line between the unoccupied and occupied regions of our country, claimed Brigadier General Kirill Budanov. This is an attempt to create North and South Korea in Ukraine. The military chief said Ukrainians would launch into guerrilla warfare in response. Budanov warned the season of total Ukrainian guerrilla safari will soon begin. And then there will be one relevant scenario left for the Russians: how to survive. Interesting development. Look, if that is the case, then Russia's going to get those oil regions that we talked about when Nate the lawyer put out that video, because again, that's what happened in Crimea, that there was a big oil reserve found in Crimea, and all of a sudden Russia decides they want Crimea, right? And then they found they had an agreement to pump some oil out of the eastern region of Ukraine, where they found some huge oil reserves. And here comes Putin again. They're going to take over part of Ukraine now too. Now, granted, these are regions that had large Russian, what's the word? Russian heritage populations. Russian, they spoke Russian, and there were some separatists, and there's been civil war going on there for 10 years. And it's funny because nobody gave a shit about Ukraine all this time. Nobody, you know what's funny? Nobody heard jack about Ukraine. Well, I suppose you heard about it in 2014 when they took over Crimea. You heard about it during the Bush administration when they went into Georgia. But since 2014, we didn't talk about Ukraine all that much. I mean, and people mentioned Crimea here and there. I'm sure they talked about it more in Europe than here. Nobody in the United States gave a shit until President Trump and the little desk jockey guy said that President Trump did something wrong in Ukraine. And, because and nobody really cared nobody seemed to have this big boner for Putin either until they said President Trump was a Putin puppet, right? And what's funny, did you hear, and I haven't read on this, so I don't know the details, but I hear President Trump's He's suing Hillary Clinton and a whole bunch of everyone who was involved in that whole Russian nonsense because, um, I know I'm going around in circles, but, the Russian disinformation campaign against Donald Trump, because that's where Hillary got the information. Anyway, but Russia wants entire Ukraine decimation 10 times over of Ukrainian army will begin once civilians have left. Well, I know they want Ukraine as a buffer zone, and that's one of the things at least they say they want. They want the Ukrainians to be that neutral state that kind of buffers the Russia and NATO aligned countries, even though a couple NATO aligned countries are on the border where some of those former Soviet republics joined NATO. I mean, I remember when they were talking about having Russia join NATO, and I was like, what? That didn't really make all that much sense. I mean, maybe it would have been, but anyway. So Russia, which had expected its own war in Ukraine to be quick, has yet to take a major Ukrainian city. It seems once again to be focused on Donbass, where fighting has raged between the Ukraine government and separatists for almost a decade. Both Zelensky's latest comments on the area and Russia's reported change of strategy could signal a possible new stage of the war, one that is more limited and where its end might be in sight. It's fascinating because all of us expected just Russia to just roll straight through, right? And they're not. And I don't know if that's because they're not really trying as hard, or I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say. There's a couple of articles in here today about why that might not be. Interesting development, though, that now Zelensky's talking about possibly ceding the Donbass region. Good morning, Canada Hotep. And good to see you, man. And also HP Lovecraft, Colleen Bernier. I did say hello earlier, and I'm glad you all are here. All right. What do I have here? That's just some Twitter shit. Let me move that over to the side. Now, a couple of interesting stories that I saw over the weekend. Well, and I'm going to be jumping around a little bit. This one was weird, okay? So I see this article. It's headlined in the New York Times, okay? And this is the headline. Israel summit shows ties with Arabs moving from ceremony to substance. And this is dated. What's the date on this? March 26th, so 2 days ago, okay? 4 Arab foreign ministers will meet in Israel's Negev desert on Sunday, along with the U.S. counterpart. The talks mark a realignment of Middle Eastern powers accelerated by the war in Ukraine. Now, if you've been following what's been going on in the Middle East over the last 5 years or so, that story should intrigue you. The way they're framing this. Real quick, let me have a thank to Black Hebrew Israelite.
That's right.
With the first donation of the day, and with that donations, Black Hebrew Israelite, you are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you very much, sir. Black Hebrew Israelite dropping a deuce in the tip jar, who says in the last 5 years, Twitter has said Oscars was too white. Now maybe the Oscars are not white enough. What soon? What? Too soon? Maybe they'll kiss and make up after gangbanging Jada. Oh my God! What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? You have some issues. No, well, it's okay. Let me comment back on that again. I can understand Will Smith defending the honor of his woman, but not on the Oscars over a damn joke, And he was laughing at first, and then they pan over Jada. Jada even smiled at first, but then it was almost like she gave one of those dirty looks, not because she was mad, but gave a dirty look for the camera, kind of a funny dirty look, and you weren't really sure. And then they put the camera back up on Rock, and all of a sudden there's someone walking up to him, and you're like, wait, what? Oh, shit! And so, good morning, Balin Bobby. How you doing? And I was like, oh. And it's weird because the conversation on the social media places is half are like, oh, yeah, he defended that black woman. He defended his woman. Well, defended his woman against Chris Rock, who's telling a joke. And then other people are like, yeah, that's not that's almost, that really hurts your reputation. And then he came on and gave, his acceptance speech, and he's in tears, and I think he's just frustrated, and but he apologizes to the Academy, but not for Chris Rock for slapping the shit out of him, and I'm just thinking, okay, is there something more going on that we don't know about? Because it was just a joke, and even if it was Jada gave Will the nod, do something. I don't know if she meant to go up and slap Chris Rock in the middle of a televised live broadcast. And there's police all around there. And apparently afterward, no one wanted to talk about it backstage either. That was weird too. But I don't know if that was it. Obviously Chris played it off pretty well and just kept going and was a complete professional about it. Because like I said, I'd have been like, again, the perfect joke to come out of that would have been something like, damn, Will, it was a joke. It's not like I fucked her or anything. And that would have, but then I think all hell would have broke loose. Oh, and then there's people online speculating. I don't know why I still have this on my screen right now. I'll put it back on in a second. There's people online speculating. Could you imagine if that was The Rock instead of Chris Rock? And then it would have been Will Ben had that. Jada wants me to go up there and do something. I'm not doing something that big motherfucker. Oh gosh. Anyway, it was the Batman and Robin slap come to life. Yes, it was. It was. Oh my gosh. It was like talking back to your grandma. In the 70s. That's what it was, one of them slaps. Oh man. All right. Let me get back into this. So this article about this Israel summit. It's a fascinating article, but I want to just give you the first line of this. Israel's meeting with top diplomats from 4 Arab countries and the United States, set to start on Sunday, is one of the strongest signs yet that the country is beginning to reap the dividends of normalization deals reached 2 years ago, a profound realignment of Middle Eastern powers that has been accelerated by the war in Ukraine. That's interesting. Dividends of normalization deals reached 2 years ago. I wonder how that came about. The deals have prompted Egypt, a longtime peace partner, to engage more meaningfully with Israel as Cairo tries to retrieve its role as Israel's bridge to the Arab world. When Israel first announced the summit on Friday, Egypt was not on the list of countries attending. The United Arab Emirates, Morocco, and Bahrain. But it was added on Saturday. The groundbreaking meeting first involved so many Arab American and Israeli officials on Israel's soil at once is evidence of Israel's acceptance by key Arab leaders, said Abdul Khalek Abdullah, an Emirati political scientist. It suggests that the relationship between the United States and its Middle East partners is about to enter a new phase. Now, again, about to enter a new phase. Now, this is weird because I know this sounds really damn familiar. It sounds familiar. It sounds like something that was at least they said it did. Again, up here it said, reap the dividends of normalization deals reached 2 years ago. Anyway, so I go through this whole article, right? And you can read it for yourself. It'll be in the link down below. Not once in this article do they mention the prior administration who did these normalization deals. It's just one of those fascinating things that I saw. Anyway, thank you, Chicago Mike, for sponsoring the show. And Chicago Mike, you are the new. What the hell? What the hell? You are the new Streamlabs superstar, sponsor of the day. Thank you very much. Who says, next Oscars, everyone is going to have a shaved head. Oh, that'd just be awesome. That would be awesome. Thank you very much, Chicago Mike. I appreciate you. Did Chris Rock get a nose job? Well, he did yesterday. You know what I mean? Eddie Murphy Raw, best comedy special of the 80s. I liked Raw. I liked actually the first, what was the first, Raw, or what was the one where he came out in just the black leather? Was that Raw? I can't remember. Yeah, Eddie Murphy Kuno Gugu slap. Oh man. Abdul twice in the name. It's sus. Oh no, it's not as, is it? Did I say his name? His name was what was his name? Abdul Khalek. Oh, Abdul. Yeah, well, it is. That's like having two first names. That's weird. You can't worry about anyone with two first names. Anyway, all right, let's keep going here. Now this is weird. So someone was pointing out this article because you know how they're kind of starting to try to arrest people who organized the January 6th thing that turned into a riot. They're calling it people who organized the rally, right? They're trying to say, okay, because you organized this rally here, these people over here who did stupid shit, and you are responsible for the stupid shit those people over here do, right? Well, there is a case in Louisiana where the Louisiana State Supreme Court now is saying that DeRay McKesson can be sued for a 2016 protest. Black Lives Matter organizer and activist DeRay McKesson can be sued by a Baton Rouge police officer injured during a 2016 protest. Louisiana State Supreme Court has determined the announcement published Friday, March 25th, was meant to answer questions raised by the United States Court of Appeals of the Fifth Circuit. Those questions centered on whether the officer can sue the organizer of an event that ends in a crime. Okay, I have thoughts on this, as much as I don't care for DeRay McKesson. The officer identified in the lawsuit as John Doe instead of by name claims he was seriously wounded after demonstrators began to loot a Circle K for water bottles. The officer claimed those bottles were later thrown at police officers. A court filing shows the officer claims he was hit in the face and was knocked to the ground, which resulted in some of his teeth being knocked out. He also reportedly suffered an injury to his jaw and brain. The lawsuit states when the defendants ran out of water bottles they were throwing at the Baton Rouge City Police, a member of defendant Black Lives Matter then picked up a piece of concrete similar to a rock-like substance and hurled it into police that were making arrests, according to the officer's lawsuit. The demonstration was part of a larger demonstration. In the aftermath of the police killing of Alton Sterling, McKesson was listed by name as a defendant in the lawsuit for his alleged role in encouraging residents to attend the demonstration where the officer was injured. Now, I have a problem with this. Let's see. Oh, let me see. I'm going to read more. I'm going to read some more of this because I want to see where they go with this. Federal Judge Brian Jackson challenged that argument in 2017, concluding McKesson solely engaged in protected speech through First Amendment rules that protect peaceful demonstrations from suffering the actions of violent demonstrators. The lawsuit was reinstated in April 2019 when an appeals court ruled the officer could claim negligence. In an opinion issued later in August 2019, the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals doubled down, argued the lawsuit should never have been dismissed under First Amendment claims. The opinion noted McKesson and other demonstrators were allegedly involved in blocking a highway, which sparked a confrontation with law enforcement. The appeals court ruled if a crime was committed, the First Amendment did not shield protesters from liability for the consequences. The U.S. Supreme Court was given the case in 2020, but chose not to address the First Amendment issue head on. The nation's high court challenged the negligence ruling Monday on November 1st. So wait, here's my problem. Yeah, just call it a brick, no doubt. Here's my problem with this, and I don't believe that DeRay McKesson, whether he organized the protest or not, if he did not commit the violence that happened, and if he did not encourage the violence that happened, now they don't. There's no details whether they're saying he did that or not. But if he didn't commit the violence or directly encourage the violence, then he can't be charged with it. What are you talking about? That would be like saying, okay, so I live in Minnesota, right? I live in Minnesota, and at the time of the 1991 World Series, I lived in Minneapolis. And in Minneapolis, after the World Series, now it wasn't so bad. It wasn't like some of sports riots, but there was some revelry, let's say, in downtown Minneapolis, and some things got broken, not because people were trying to be destructive, but it just happened because a lot of drunk people running around being excited about a World Series wins are going to do some stupid shit. Now, let me ask you this. Let's say, for example, a police officer were injured. Now, I'll tell you a story about this. But anyway, let's say a police officer was injured in the revelry after a World Series win by a major city's baseball team. Could the officer, in turn, sue the baseball organization for that so-called sports riot? That's how I feel about this. Now, granted, he organized a protest, but organizing a protest is not illegal in the United States. And did he? So they're saying because they blocked a road, and that was a crime, because it's in the process of crime. Now anything that happens during that, the officer can at least attempt to sue and get compensation for. I'm not buying it. Good morning, Jada Clay, Data Wasteland, and Septus Wolf. Nice to have you at the show. So anyway, I think it's a family story about a black female tennis pros Williams. Oh yeah, are you talking about the movie that Will Smith won the Oscar for? Yes, I have no idea. Good morning, Richo, too. How you doing, my brother? Well, good. I think it's good early morning for you. But anyway, yeah, it was for the whatever the name of the movie is. It's the movie where he portrayed Richard Williams and the father of Venus and Serena Williams. And good morning, Legit Low Talker. So anyway, this case I think it's BS, but I guess we'll find out. Moving on. Also over the weekend, President Putin called for President Putin's ouster. Biden. This speech, man, and a lot of people were saying this speech that Biden made in Poland was, some people were calling it Reagan-esque. And I'm like, oh boy. And tried to compare Biden's call for the ouster of Putin, which you can't really describe it as anything else. And we're trying to compare it to Reagan saying, tear down this wall, as a gaffe. No, Reagan very deliberately made that statement. But I think Biden's statement was completely an unscripted gaffe. But anyway, but there's plenty of editorials about this. We'll go through the New York Post one this morning. Arg, he did it again. President Joe Biden made the biggest mistake yet of his European trip Saturday, ad-libbing the line, "For God's sake, this man cannot remain in power." It wasn't an ad-lib line. The White House rapidly walked it back, that being his call for Vladimir Putin's removal, but the damage is done. Could you imagine what they're saying in Russia? I mean, I'm sure they're just all of the, "See, I told you so. The president, he want to assassinate Vladimir Putin. We are going to this is not going to be allowed." Anyway, while Biden's age and general cluelessness are a part of the problem here, the real issue is that nothing he says ever means much. He spent most of his public life managing never to be held to a promise, threat, or expressed intention. Yes, most of the planet is rooting for Putin's ouster, preferably fatal, but demanding it isn't U.S. policy for a whole bunch of reasons. America's not going to make it happen. For starters, the Ukraine's overwhelming priority is simply for the Russians to stop their slaughter and leave. The president got caught up in his prepared remarks and summoned to the West to unite, not just against Putin's invasion, but against all tyranny, i.e. China, and said what fit emotionally. He's not the first president to badly go off script, but he is the first to do so routinely. This follows his gaffes threatening to use non-existent U.S. chemical weapons if Putin uses his all too real chems, and telling American troops they'd be going to Ukraine. Yeah, he said that over the weekend too. Well, when you're in Ukraine, you're going to see these women and children in front of the tanks, and some of you have already been there and seen it yourselves. President Pudding, knock, knock. President Pudding, we don't have any troops in Ukraine right now, President Pudding. Oh, and there's a picture of this one dude looking at him like, oh, I take, why is DeRay still on here? What the hell? That's weird. How is that even? Oh, I see what happened. There, let's try this. There we go. Let's get the right article on the screen. Anyway, yet most of the the president just got caught up in his prepared remarks. He's not the first president. He said that there's 3 huge public bungles in 3 days on a trip that was supposed to be sending a disciplined message of firm but limited support for Ukraine. We expect Biden sheepishly apologize to his staff again for having to do damage control, and to the allies for undermining them, and for handing Putin some first-rate propaganda grist. But at 79, he's not going to stop. Again, he's been doing this his entire life. Of course, the press is happy to play mop-up. Some were calling this Biden's tear down this wall moment before the White House's embarrassing walkback. The Washington Post write up gently and comically referred to Biden's sometimes inarticulate rhetoric. Oh, sometimes.
Come on, man.
Yet, the problem here isn't his confusion. It's his fundamental insincerity. As a senator and vice president, Joe Biden got away with saying whatever felt effective at the moment, whether it was promising orderly Supreme Court confirmation hearings, vowing to pass a given bill, or committing to not letting his family merchandise his role as VP. But he was time and time again telling his audience what he thought he wanted to hear so he could move on to his next round of pitching bull. Because senators and VPs don't actually have much individual power. He got away with it. The President of the United States, however, is the most powerful guy on the planet, and his words matter. The job's a terrible fit for a career con man. I concur. Good morning, Jaeger Pony, my favorite Canadians in the house. Nice to see you. Let's see, what else we got here? There's a couple more articles on Puddin' Brain. Oh, this one's very okay. This one's harsh. It's a stutter. Yeah, it's a stutter like me saying is a stutter. I occasionally say probably more than I should. This is a little bit harsh too. The editorials are harsh. I gotta tell you. No Country for Old Men by Michael Walsh. The President of the United States, Joseph Robinette. Robinette? That sounds like some kind of chocolatey raisin snack to me. I prefer Joseph Raheem Biden Jr., who is 79 years old and suffering from senile dementia at the end of a long life of bullying, lying, boasting, conniving, grifting, grafting, and living off the public tit to an extent indecent even by Washington standards. Wow, say what you think there, Michael Walsh. Woo! I don't hold back today. Why hold back now? In the course of a typically blustering, hectoring speech, the senescent Biden went off script and interpolated the following peroration. Well, there's some thesaurus fucking using writer right there. Quote, "My God, this man cannot remain in power." To which the only proper response is, "My God, this man cannot remain in the Oval Office. Joe Biden needs to be removed from the White House as soon as possible before his failing mind and erratic behavior and his proven lack of character get us all killed. The question is there enough political will in the Capitol to do what needs to be done? I'm telling you right now, people, not until February 2023. No, this is not. Wait, this isn't the Daily Caller or Daily Wire guy. Isn't that Matt Walsh? What's that guy's name? Michael Allspice Walsh. Yeah. I see what you're saying. some spicy writing right there. Hello, why are you so angry? Nice to see you this morning. When your husbands are raising on my something. Did I have to scroll down all the way? I don't know. Anyway. Joe Biden needs to be removed from the White House as soon as possible. The question is, okay, Biden's blunder was immediately walked back by the few adults left in the room, called a gaffe, or worse, actually defended by the neocons. Yeah, they're just like, there's some of them were just, I mean, a couple of I'm sure Bill Kristol had to just fucking orgasm when he heard that. Anyway, other leftists as truth-telling on a heroic scale, evocative of Reagan's 1987 tear down this wall speech at the Brandenburg Gate in Berlin, which 2 years later actually did result in the wall coming down. But his rash words continue to ring. No matter how swiftly his handlers and apologists, and even Biden himself tried to make us disbelieve our own lying ears. Mush-mouthed as usual and delivered with all the Scrantonian sincerity. That's a play on his hometown of Scranton, Pennsylvania, he likes to talk about, of one of his typical campaign speeches. Biden's address was not only the low watermark of his presidency so far, but a nadir to the history of the United States and its practice of diplomacy. As bad as the State Department is, it's generally been able to enforce some sort of diplomatic protocol on even its loosest cannons. Barack Obama's spectacular breach of etiquette in his toast to Queen Elizabeth in 2011 was a notable exception. On the other hand, Donald Trump's own Warsaw speech in 2017 was a triumph of forceful and cogent argumentation and full-throated defense of Western civilization. But for Biden to end his intemperate saber-rattling with a call for Vladimir Putin to be deposed is something nearly unprecedented in our nation's history. George H.W. Bush, during his feckless and pointless war against Saddam Hussein, effectively did so, at least as a hypothetical, and characteristically hedged his bets, saying, "I would be willing to take a new look if the army took matters into their own hands," said Bush, who noted that the United States would not resume normal relations with Iraq as long as Saddam remained in power. "If a new regime emerged, then I'd like to see what their goals are. Despite his claims that Saddam has got to go, Bush again said that it is not his intention to involve the United States in Iraq's internal affairs. But Saddam was not deposed that time, and it was left for Bush 2 to clean up Poppy's mess by making it even a bigger one. During his long occupation of a Senate seat, Biden served for many years on the Foreign Relations Committee and learned all the wrong lessons without acquiring an ounce of real-world savvy. This is the problem with electing a lifelong senator to the presidency with no prior executive experience except ribbon-cutting ceremonies and attending foreign funerals as vice president. Senators' words have no real-world consequences. Presidents do. Senators can say anything they want because their words carry no executive authority and they cannot legally be held accountable for them. They're meant for the ears of voters back home, not for the guy in the Kremlin with his finger on the button. For 50 years, this creepy blowhard has been dining out off his dead wife and daughter, and more recently a dead son, parlaying sympathy votes into a lifetime sinecure. Gosh, his vocabulary. Now, by accident, design, hook, crook, he's POTUS. And God help us by calling for a regime change in Moscow. He's just given the Russians a cause belli. Soon, should they choose to accept it, they would be perfectly within their rights to do so under the laws of war. All in all, it's just another hair-raising moment in the funhouse ride from hell that has been the Biden presidency so far. Robinette Jr., Raheem, came to D.C. in the 1970s, and he's brought the 70s back along with him to the White House. Flaccid leadership, an energy crisis, rampant inflation, and consummate failure abroad. Even the lickspittle media can't disguise the stench of his latest poll numbers. They simply cannot continue. What's this? Amid Europe's largest land war since World War II, 7 in 10 Americans expressed low confidence in President Biden's ability to deal with Russian invasion of Ukraine. In a new NBC News poll, 8 in 10 voiced worry that the war will increase gas prices and possibly involve nuclear weapons. And during the nation's largest inflation spike in 40 years, overwhelming majority said they believe the country is headed in the wrong direction and disapproved of the president's handling of the economy. Those are some of the major findings of the new national NBC News poll, which found that Biden's overall approval rating had declined to 40%, the lowest level of his presidency. Well, there you go. Hello, all you need. Nice to see you. This simply cannot continue if the nation is to survive. The stumbling block, of course, is what would come after him should he be removed by the 25th Amendment. Oh, God. The fear I have of that right now. Holy smokes. President 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 Kamala Harris, a vapid affirmative action female type person without the slightest aptitude for any job she's so far been handed by the Democratic establishment in California and D.C. She very likely would be even worse than her current boss, at least for the short term, that she too would hold office. Oh, it's even painful to say. But take heart. There is precedent, not president, but precedent. During the Democratic Washington Post coup against Richard Nixon in 1974, the order of business was to remove Tricky Dick's vice president, the genially corrupt Spiro T. Agnew, the former Baltimore County executive and governor of Maryland, on conveniently discovered charges of penny ante, bribery, extortion, and income tax violations. Some things were and remain part of the way business is done in Baltimore. Just ask the former Nancy Alessandro, now Speaker Pelosi, that's her name, Speaker, Nancy Pelosi, about corruption in Baltimore. But they suddenly loomed large when it was time to overturn the results of the 1972 presidential election, which saw Nixon win 60% of the popular vote, carry 49 states, he lost only Massachusetts and D.C., and garner 520 electoral votes. Less than 2 years later, both Agnew, replaced by Congressman Gerald Ford, and Nixon were gone. So it can be done, and perfectly legally. And don't worry, if Biden were to leave office early, Nancy Pelosi would not automatically become vice president. The succession pecking order only kicks in when both the senior executive offices suddenly become vacant. Removing Biden shouldn't be difficult. Section 4 reads, quote, whenever the vice president and the majority of either principal officers of the executive departments or of such other body as Congress may by law provide, transmit to the President pro tempore of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives their written declaration that the President is unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office, the Vice President shall immediately assume the powers and duties of the office as acting President. But there's a catch. There's a catch. Therefore, when the President transmit the President pro tempore of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives has written declaration that no inability exists, he shall resume the powers and duties of his office unless the Vice President and a majority of either of the principal officers of the executive department or of such other body as Congress may by law provide, transmit within 4 days to the President pro tempore of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives their written declaration that the President is unable to discharge their powers and duties of his office. Thereupon, Congress shall decide the issue, assembling within 48 hours for that purpose, if not in session. If the Congress, within 21 days after the receipt of the latter written declaration, or if Congress is not in session within 21 days after Congress is required to assemble, determines by 2/3 of a vote of both houses that the President is unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office, the Vice President shall continue to discharge the same acting President. Otherwise, the President shall reduce. So anyway, they got to get a 2/3 vote if he objects himself. But wasn't that the plan all along? I don't know. Oh, Lord. Boy, oh boy. President Putin brain. What's going on with her eyebrows? They seem to be getting worse. Who are we talking about? Are we talking about Kamala's? Zero chance they will remove from office the first black woman. She could nuke a U.S. city and they would not do so. No chance in hell they would allow that marring to go inside the books. You know, as far as I don't know that they would. I don't know if they'd get rid of her if she got in. I think they just continue with the puppet show, and although she's a little feisty sometimes, but I wonder if her staff would start getting along better though. That'd be interesting. All right. All right, real quick. Oh, thank you, Ty Alexander, sponsored the show one more time, and who says, "I want with the bullet, dropping a small bullet in the tip jar. Thank you. I want a President Harris. Trump would devour her. She is so unlikable. Her own party hates her guts. The vote blue, no matter who crowd would implode, and Trump will become the 48th. Do it now." I think she would immediately be primaried. Like I said, I think they're going to wait to do anything until February 23. They've I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't know if it'll be 25th or he suddenly gets sick and resigns or what. He's not going to be impeached, that's for sure. Even if Republicans take both the House and the Senate, he will not be impeached. Unless, wait a minute. He might actually, because the laptop story, do I have anything on that today? I thought I had something open. I'm going to skip this thing. The terrifying moment when someone switched Biden's brain off in Poland. This is that. Here's with the 82nd Airborne. This is the one that really, this one that made me nervous. I'm like, wait a minute. What's this about us? What's this about troops going to be in? Well, here, listen to this.
And you're going to see when you're there, and some of you have been there, you're going to see.
And you're going to see when you're there, and some of them have already been there. Listen to that again.
And you're going to see when you're there, and some of you have been there.
Some of you have been
You're
there.
You're going to see women, young people standing in the middle in front of a damn tank, just saying, I'm not leaving. I'm holding my ground. They're incredible. And you're going to see when you're there, and some of you have been there. You're going to see women, young people standing in the middle in front of a damn tank, just saying, I'm not leaving. I'm holding my ground. They're incredible. And you're going to see.
Okay, so what? Now, the official White House transcript in this, and so you know, with the Ukrainian people have a lot of backbone, they have a lot of guts, and I'm sure you're observing it. And I don't mean just their military, which is we've been training since back when Russia moved into the southeast Ukraine, but also the average citizen. Why is my phone ringing? Let's turn that off. Let's see. But the average citizen, look how they're stepping up. And you're going to see when you're there, and some of you have been there, you're going to see women, young people standing in front of a damn tank, just saying, I'm not leaving. I'm holding my ground. They're incredible, but they take a lot of inspiration from it. So, first of all, does he know that none of them have been there? None of them have been there. Hey, James PFP and John Smith, what's up? Say hi to Elizabeth for me. The American president, a formerly robust and stupid man, is now an empty shell who is still stupid and has even more verbal incontinence than his younger days. The White House immediately went into damage control mode, denying completely Biden's statement. This is Andrew Feinberg, who said, just now, POTUS told U.S. troops, you're going to see when you're there, you're going to see women, young people standing in the middle in front of a damn tank saying, I'm not leaving. I've asked the White House if there are now plans to send troops, or he misspoke. Update. Spokesperson tells me the president has been clear. We are not sending U.S. troops to Ukraine, and there is no change in that position. Well, what did he mean? Then why did he ask? Why did he say when you're there? And some of you have been there. What is he talking about? I heard people say Biden is a complete puppet who has no idea what he's saying at any time. I don't believe that. He's clearly mentally there at times, but still always stupid. My theory about Biden's regular weekend trips to his Delaware home, along with his refusal to release the visitors' logs from those trips, isn't that he's hiding corruption. I think he's hiding a stream of medicos who prop him up with all the sorts of drugs that help treat dementia. When he's back at work, most Mondays, he's fairly perky and knows what he's doing. Yeah, I don't know. And hello, Nomad. What's up? Good to see you.
Stop. Hammer time.
Thank you, Maddie. Putting a big bullet in the tip jar. And Maddie, you are the new Streamlabs superstar sponsor of the day. Who says, I've said this before and I will say it again. Making him campaign and then run the country when he is clearly not mentally capable is elder abuse. This is disgusting. All I got to say to that is, well,
come on, man.
Anyway, yeah, I just don't get it. I don't get it. I'm pretty confident that whatever he just said there, I think he's confusing with having troops in Afghanistan, which are no longer there. That's the only thing I think of when he says, well, you've been there. And you were there. Let's see, what did he say? You're going to see when you're there. You're going to see when you're there. And some of you have been there. You're going to see women, young people standing in the middle in front of a damn tank. Aye. Anyway, this is for Breitbart, so take it with a grain of salt. There's a report that Biden's gaffe about the regime change gaffe, that it was not part of a prepared speech. The White House confirmed Sunday that President Biden's call for regime change was not part of his prepared speech. For God's sakes, this man cannot remain in power, Biden said at the conclusion of his speech, referring to Russian President Vladimir Putin. And so they had to walk all that back. We've already heard it. Moving on. NATO ambassador. Now, the NATO ambassador praised Biden's, quote, pitch perfect speech. And then immediately walks back his call for regime change. The U.S. ambassador to NATO, Juliette Smith, praised Joseph Biden's pitch-perfect speech in Poland, then immediately walked back his calls for a Russian regime change on This is CNN. State of the Union Friday. Smith pushed back against Biden's... Well, here, let's see. Do they have the... Oh, they don't have the video in this one. She pushed back against Biden appearing to call for regime change in Russia during the Saturday address in Warsaw, where he exclaimed this man cannot remain in power. The White House immediately pushed back, claiming the president was not discussing Russian Vladimir Putin's power. Well, what? Who is this man then? Oh my God. In the moment, I think that was a principled human reaction to the stories that he had heard that day. But no, as you heard from Secretary Blinken and others, the U.S. does not have a policy of regime change in Russia. Full stop, Smith said. They probably have a link to the video, but I'm not going to show it. But anyway, moving on. Russian military. Hype versus reality. So this is the question that seems to be coming up a lot. Is the Russian military really all that they're cut out to be? It's weird because, you get reports that the Ukrainians are doing all this damage and they're winning, but then they need more help and they need more planes and stuff from us. And it's funny because are we just supposed to donate? Are they going to buy it? Are they going to, are we going to send them a kit to build it and they can build it in their shed in the backyard? I don't know. But so far, Russia's conventional military forces have been waging war against Ukraine, and for the first month, many of the reports have been about seeming Russian failures or stalls, or of the Russian military being bogged down. However, since propaganda on both sides is also a large factor in this war, much of this was initially considered to be possible or even probable Ukrainian propaganda and exaggeration. There's almost certainly some of that, and it remains possible that through sheer numbers and willingness to take and inflict heavy casualties, that Russia will win militarily in the end. That's the traditional Russia way of war. But over time, and it's become more clear that the Russian military actually does have some grave problems. Some people were well aware of these failings already, as this video makes clear. There's a video here of the uncanny predictions, whatever. So the Russian military, at least somewhat of a facade like Potemkin, or is the Russian military at least somewhat of a facade like Potemkin Village? If so, that doesn't mean they still can't inflict great damage. They can, but it certainly hampers them in that effort. But the deleterious effects for the Russian forces may even be greater if an invasion of Ukraine, because reports are that mud season has been a problem and troops were not even told they would be fighting in Ukraine, where many of them might have relatives and friends. So there may be a significant amount of increased internal and psychological conflict among the troops, and morale may be even lower than usual. And then they talk a little about the Potemkin villages here. That's the thing. I don't know what to believe because there's so much propaganda going around. And if the all-powerful Russian army is not pushing into Kyiv and into some of these big cities and they're being repelled, it makes you wonder, I suppose. You just got to wonder. Let's see. And then, let's see. I have a couple articles here on gas prices, because I've been seeing a lot of people say, oh, the president doesn't have any influence over gas prices. It's not the president's fault. It's the Russians' fault, even though gas went up long before the invasion, right? Hello, Fight for Our Rights. Russia's being merciful. Are they? It could be. I don't know. So anyway, but back to... as you talk to people online or talk to people and you say, oh, yeah, the gas price is going up and Biden's is partially fault, you get a lot of pushback online, right? Well, here's a couple good articles on this. One from the Daily Caller, how Biden raised gas prices without anyone noticing. U.S. pump prices have surged throughout President Biden's tenure in office, even as Democrats continue to blame the spike on Russia's invasion of Ukraine and the big oil companies. They say this is just corporate greed, right? President Joe Biden, the Democrats have blamed the continued gas price surge on big oil and the Russian invasion. But pump prices have climbed throughout his tenure. While Russia's invasion of Ukraine has destabilized global energy markets, causing an historic supply crunch, high gasoline prices have been the norm throughout Biden's first 14 months, federal data showed. Experts have blamed the high prices on the administration's energy and climate policies disincentivizing domestic fossil fuels. Since Russia... Wait, what's that? Have you seen the chip shortage we have had for 2+ years? Now is also being called the Ukrainian chip shortage. I did not see that. Hello, Brett Hayes, by the way. No, I hadn't seen anyone say that. But they're blaming everything on the sudden invasion. When did this start? Roughly, I mean, they started surrounding Ukraine in January, right? The end of January, and then they went into Ukraine last month, But I've been seeing like certain empty shelves of things in the United States before they even started moving troops around Ukraine. I've seen, and the gas prices went up. I mean, like again, it went from like, what was it, I could have sworn it was like $2.29 when Trump came out of office, right? And it was $3.50 when this started. Or $3.25 in some places when this started, right? So almost, around $1 before and about 75 cents after it started. So it was already up. Hello, Aaron Meredith. Anyway, since Russia's invasion, gasoline prices have increased more than 20% from $5.53 to $4.24 per gallon, according to the Energy Information Administration. Now, that's averaged nationwide. In Twin Cities, for example, when I paid yesterday, I think I got gas for $3.59 at Sam's Club. Anyway, however, pump prices increased a whopping 48.4% between Biden's January 2021 inauguration and February 2021. 3 days before the Russian president went, I think that means 22. Oh, February 21st, 2022. 3 days before Russian President Vladimir Putin ordered troops into Ukraine. Democrats in the White House initially blamed Russia for the entirety of price increases, calling it a Putin gas price hike. Before also accusing oil companies of profiteering off the crisis. While there's no denying Putin's war has led to instability on global energy markets, I remain concerned that the oil industry is not doing enough to protect American consumers from rising gas prices, that House Natural Resources Committee Chairman Raul Grijalva wrote to big oil executives on March 18th. However, fossil fuel industry groups and Republicans have slammed the Biden administration for its long string of policies dating back to the president's first day in office. They accuse Biden of waging war on fossil fuels, causing decreased capital flows and domestic projects. The United States has shown its global energy dominance over the past decade, Independent Petroleum Association of America COO Jeff Eschelbaum told the Daily Caller News Foundation in February. Unfortunately, this has been threatened by the current administration's policies against domestic natural gas and oil production. Make no mistake, natural gas and oil production here at home benefits not only our nation, but our worldwide allies, he added. For America, it means less reliance on oil imports from unfriendly countries. Among Biden's first action as president was to revoke the Keystone XL pipeline federal permit, which would have transported more crude oil into the U.S. from Canada. The administration also abandoned the Willow Project, a significant oil and gas project in Alaska approved by the Trump administration that would have produced 100,000 barrels of oil per day. After a federal judge ordered the Biden administration to halt its attempted ban on new federal land drilling leases, the Department of the Interior has dragged its feet and defied multiple court-ordered deadlines to restart the program. The Interior Department also chose not to appeal a recent ruling that prohibited an offshore drilling lease in the Gulf of Mexico the agency facilitated in the fall. Further, the administration has developed a new 5-year federal leasing program, which is needed to plan future leases to replace the current ones. One which expired in June 2022, or which expires in June 2022, according to the Congressional Research Service report from December. The most recent offshore lease sale occurred in 2020 during the Trump administration. Overall, there are just 601 oil and gas drilling rigs active in the U.S. The latest government data showed that number of rigs has peaked under Trump in 2018 when there were 1,032. So there were 500 more active oil and gas drilling rigs in the United States in 2018 than there are now. Now, of course, some of that's was shut down probably in during COVID, but that's from 601. It went from 1,032 active rigs to 601. Could that be a factor? You think? The U.S. is also on track to again become a net exporter of oil in 2022 after briefly reaching net exporter status in 2020. Well, that's good. The U.S. became a net exporter of total energy in 2019, factoring in oil, coal, and natural gas trade for the first time in 75 years. We haven't had a federal lease sale in North Dakota in over a year, Republican North Dakota Representative Kelly Armstrong, a member of the House Energy and Commerce Energy Subcommittee, told the Daily Caller News Foundation in an interview. These are real things, that you are sending signals not just to energy company, but to Wall Street. Drilling projects take several years to do and a ton of capital to raise. He continued, how are you going to do that when you have an administration basically signaling they want nothing to do with oil and gas? North Dakota produced 1.1 million barrels of oil per day in 2021, the third largest statewide output according to federal data. Yeah, the oil fields in central North Dakota that they are using fracking to get to produce tons. And now, especially that oil prices are up, it makes that process worthwhile. But apparently some of those leases or some of those wells are no longer active. So that's kind of wild. Anyway, there's another article here about that, and I'm not going to read it because it says a lot of the same things, but the idea that the president has no influence on gas prices, those first actions he took as president, absolutely caused some issues. All right, let me find something real quick to finish off with because let's see. Oh. This is interesting. It's easy email. So the Department of Justice sent a letter to Project Veritas. And Project Veritas has responded. This is a pretty good one. We'll finish off with this today. Project Veritas attorneys replied Thursday to the Department of Justice that called accusations against the government baseless. In its arrogance, the government argues in its March 23rd, 22 filing that this court is powerless to stop it from reviewing journalist privileged communications and even powerless to require the government to explain circumstances of its privilege invasion to date. Project Veritas attorneys Paul Calley and Charles Short wrote in to U.S. District Judge for the Southern District of New York, Annalisa Torres. Fortunately, the law does not agree. The letter went on to claim that the government is dodging the most critical issue, that President Joe Biden's Department of Justice has been caught, I'll just say caught, they say, allegedly spying on Project Veritas for 16 months. The nonprofit news organization recently claimed the DOJ granted 7 secret orders, warrants, and subpoenas from 6 judges within the Southern District of New York office to force Microsoft to provide the journalists constitutionally protected information. The DOJ's word salad of non-denials does not pass the constitutional muster. Project Veritas founder James O'Keefe said in his Telegram followers in regards to the issue. "We smell a rat. We will not be bullied. We will never relent. We are doing this for all journalists and the First Amendment." So what they did, here's the letter from the Southern District of New York. Oh shoot, I can't make this larger. Let's try this. There we go. So this is the letter that upon the application, the United States turns there's a reason to believe that the notification. Okay, never mind. I don't need to read that. Let's fix that. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. Anyway, I'm gonna call it a day because I don't want to get into another article before. That's right. There we go. Oh, that's on their Instagram. Anyway, I'm gonna call it a day. So just a reminder. This is some programming notes. This Friday will be the 800th episode of the Morning Night Live, and I'm going to start putting out some promotion for that in the next day or so. If you should be so kind to share that with your friends. Again, we're going to bring on Ruin Leon and Christian Watson, 2 young African-American gentlemen who I really enjoy listening to. They have both have great channels. Leon is more irreverent and funny and makes fun of makes fun of word salad land. And Christian Watson's a very thoughtful, highly intelligent young man who is very elegant in the way he makes arguments. And we're going to talk to both of them about how their experience being new, young, black, wrong thinkers, so to speak. So that's going to be our show on Friday. I hope you would come and join us in that one. I think it'll be fun. And we'll do our normal thing for the rest of the week. Tomorrow we'll either do TikTok or Twitter Tuesday, Woke Wednesday, FTG Thursday, and we'll be doing that here at 10 o'clock Eastern like we always do. Please, before you go, I have a request. Hit the like button. Share the stream before, during, and after the stream. If you're watching a replay, put a comment in the comment section so that I know that you were here. And thank you for our sponsors today. Black Hebrew Israelite.
That's right.
Also, Chicago Mike, Tyre Alexander, and Maddie. And Maddie is the superstar sponsor, the Streamlabs superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you for doing that. If you want to sponsor the show, go to pdognight.live. 24 hours a day. You can use the Streamlabs link, or you can do Venmo, Cash App in the description down below, and YouTube Super Chats and Streamlabs during the show. I will read your messages on the show wherever you decide to put them. So, everyone, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful Monday. We'll see you tomorrow. My name is P-Dog Knight, and I am out of here. Bye-bye. Have a great day. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog Studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, P-Dog Knight. Hey, this is P-Dog Knight, and thanks for watching today on the P-Dog Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P Dog Knight, and I'm out of here.